The shadows of Abraham Lincoln, a story history softened, but never told. History remembers Abraham Lincoln in marble, tall, still, silent. But marble does not breathe, and it does not suffer. This is not the Lincoln carved into monuments. This is the man who lived inside the shadows, long before the nation ever asked him to lead it. Abraham Lincoln was not born into promise. He was born into isolation, a rough cabin, thin walls, hard winters. There were no books nearby, no mentors, no safety net, only labor and loss. When he was 9 years old, his mother died suddenly. No warning, no cure. One day, she was there. The next, she was gone. That kind of loss does not fade. It embeds. People who knew Lincoln later said something dimmed in him that day. A light went quiet, and it never fully returned. Lincoln lived with a weight most people never saw. In his time, it was called melancholy. Today, we would call it deep depression. There were periods when he could not sleep, could not laugh, could not escape his thoughts. Friends worried about him. At one point, they removed knives and razors from his reach, not because he was dramatic, but because he was silent. Lincoln learned early how to function while breaking inside, how to stand upright while carrying invisible weight. Before Lincoln ever rose, he fell. Again, and again, and again. He failed in business. He lost elections. He was publicly humiliated. Each failure left a record. Each loss became permanent ink. At one point, he wrote that his ambition had burned itself out. That life felt narrow, heavy, but he did not disappear. He stayed. This part is uncomfortable. Lincoln did not begin as a fearless crusader against slavery. He hated it, but he feared tearing the nation apart even more. He believed the Constitution tied his hands, that moving too fast to destroy everything. This hesitation has been judged harshly, but hesitation is often where the truth lives. Lincoln was not trying to look righteous. He was trying to hold the country together long enough to change it. When Lincoln became president, he did something strange. He hired his enemies, men who thought he was unqualified, unpolished, outmatched. They mocked him behind his back. Some openly questioned his intelligence. Lincoln did not remove them. He listened. Power did not make him louder. It made him quieter. The Civil War was not an abstraction to Lincoln. It was a daily wound. He read casualty lists, thousands of names. Every day, he visited hospitals, saw amputations, heard screams. He wrote letters to parents who would never see their sons again. Each death stayed with him. Each decision aged him. Photographs from his presidency show a man hollowed by responsibility. The Emancipation Proclamation was not triumphant. It was dangerous. Lincoln waited, not because he lacked courage, but because timing could determine whether it lived or died. He knew it might cost him re-election. He knew it might fracture the Union further. And he did it anyway, not because he was certain, but because he was responsible. Lincoln carried a belief few leaders ever admit. He believed America was paying a moral debt, that the bloodshed was not accidental. In his second inaugural address, he suggested the war itself might be judgment for slavery. Not the South. All of us. This was not political language. It was moral reckoning. Lincoln received threats constantly, warnings, letters, rumors. He rarely reacted, not because he was fearless, but because fear no longer controlled him. He once said that death would come when it came. What mattered was finishing the work. This is a final truth. Lincoln did not believe he was chosen. He believed he was placed into pressure, placed into conflict, placed into history's narrow doorway. He did not seek immortality. He sought usefulness. Abraham Lincoln was not made of confidence. He was made of endurance. He carried doubt. He carried grief. He carried the weight anyway. And when history demanded someone who could stand inside the darkness without running from it, he stayed. That is the Lincoln history rarely tells you about.